as we listen from Warren Weiss, who is a teacher at Richland School District 2, a pre-engineering teacher. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Hello, hello, hello. Not sure if you guys can hear me. All right. Trying to make sure that everyone is out there. My name is Warren Wise, and basically today we're going to talk about integrating STEM in basically in your classroom. Now, if you got up this early morning, I appreciate it. I know we're at a different time here, going into our new normal. But today's presentation is going to be engaging students in STEM and other core subjects. I'm a middle school science teacher here in Columbia, South Carolina, and to talk about the presentation itself, being a teacher, we always find ourselves trying to actually find time to do different things.
Warren, can you just talk a little bit louder there? Because your mic, I know we tested it, but I'm just chiming in to say talk.
Okay. Sorry about that. That's a technical issue.
The teacher voice.
That's right. Okay. To tell you a little bit, teachers are always trying to find time to actually do some engaging projects in the classroom, and that's where we kind of we fall short of. And so what we need to do is use different organizations, different tools to try to engage those particular students. And one of the things I think we found in my particular school is that we can use something that UVTech offered us, a beautiful company that had that has actually a very, very, very nice grant that I hope you guys take advantage of, or at least try to find some more information on, which I'm going to try to show you today, that helped us out. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my my presentation here, and I'm going to show you how we use robotics in the classroom at my particular school, Kelly Mill Metro Middle School, and basically put that in just about every classroom that we have at Kelly Mill. Primarily, we started with the sixth grade classroom, okay? And we're gonna, I'm gonna try to show you some of the activities and discuss with you some of the activities that a lot of our core teachers, such as myself, use for the students to actually take their education to another level, and how they actually won a couple of awards with that also. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make sure I put this on here. There we go. And I have to go back here just to make sure. I'm hoping that you guys can see my screen right here. All right. Basically, if you're here in this presentation, you're looking at. I'm just putting in this mode right here. I don't want to put it in present mode because for some reason it glitches here and there. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about myself. All right. As I said earlier, I teach at Kelly Mill Middle School. I've been teaching for over 17 years. I have my degree in physics from Benedict College. I also have my master's in educational technology from Boise State University, and my specialist degree, educational specialist degree from Liberty University. I'm also a former chemical operations specialist with the Army Reserve. Basically, in my educational tenure, I've been teaching, physics, chemistry, biology, physical science, graphic design, and pre-engineering. Um, I enjoy what I do. I think it's passionate. I find that students in any type of STEM program are, engaged into different subject areas. So, when they're actually thinking about how you can incorporate STEM into whatever subject area, um, they find themselves more and more tuned into the classroom. Uh, as the years went on in my education career, I've participated in the CDC Science Ambassador Fellowship. Recently, I won the South Carolina STEM Educator of the Year Award. Uh, I'm part of 100K and 10, and recently just been awarded the PBS Digital Innovator uh, program, and basically I'll be working with PBS, trying to come up with new digital media, especially in our new normal now, for educators around the country. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about how can we actually engage our students and use STEM in the classroom. All right. Basically, um, it's a method that I actually use. And let me go back to that part. It's an actual method that I use itself. And it's actually down here. It's called LISA. Okay? LISA. And what LISA is, it's just an acronym. LISA. Just an acronym. Basically, what I try to do, I try to find out what lesson I'm doing. Okay? What is it that I need to teach my students? Then I think about the interdisciplinary subject areas. What other subjects can I bring into my classroom? Even though I'm a science teacher and I'm looking at different lessons, I need to look at the other subject areas that I can use in my lesson. And then next thing you know, I look at the supplies. For one thing, if I want to talk about catapults and I use, student popsicle sticks and rubber bands, and I have a class about 25, 30 students, well, if I only have 5 popsicle sticks and 3 rubber bands, that's not going to help. So my supplies would dictate my activity, because now I have to change up my activities. I want to still talk about catapults and maybe, the courses used on that. So that's what I do, and this is what I instill into my coworkers at my school. Use this right here. It's real simple. It's easy. You can actually, plan your whole lesson around this one little acronym right here. Now, with that said, how to put that in the classroom, because teachers always find a way in which they can say, "Hey, I don't have the time. What can I do about this?" It's, you're going to add more and more stuff into my day. Come on, Wise. This is not good. What can I do? All right, I want to add STEM into the program, but I don't have the time to do it. Well, I can say this: with UVTech, we've had the early innovators grant, and they've blessed us with over 30 different robots that we can use for our actual STEM program. And what we did, we had teachers here in a workshop with the actual U-kits that we have. These are the intermediate UVTech robotics kits. And this is one of the workshops that they had the training for. They gave us training for all our all our teachers. And what you're looking here is this is the actual 6th grade teachers. With the help of administration, we said we wanted to focus on 6th grade with these the robot. And you're looking at science teachers, you're looking at math teachers, you're looking at social studies, looking at ELA. We actually have the pre-engineering engineering teacher in there, and we had a couple other teachers from different grade levels too, because in middle school you never know which area you're going to be in from one year to the next, and so that helped us out right there. Now, with that said, even though you go through the training, then you have this awesome robotics kit, how can you incorporate that into the classroom? Because once the teacher leaves the training, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to actually use what they saw in the program. So what I did, we actually created what you call a business. This is a student-led business in which the student will actually go to the teacher and get, you might as well say, like little order forms. A teacher will actually use or tell the student like, hey, I need something that looks like a car, or I need something that looks like a catapult, or I need something that looks like an arm or something of that nature. And they jot down information from that teacher. Say, okay, one particular teacher, which I'm gonna show you in a little bit, some of the stuff they use. An English teacher said, hey, we're talking about smart homes, and I need they're reading some type of book dealing with smart homes or something of that nature, and they want a robot that's going to help them put on. In the beginning, it was makeup. They wanted something to put on makeup, and or to show something like brushing the hair or brushing the teeth or something that helps. And so the student would write the information down, get all the information. Okay, they need that, and they would bring it back to my classroom. We had an after school program in which the students would brainstorm on how they're going to do it, and then they actually would build it and they would program it. And so they would send it back to the teacher, a couple of days or a week or so later. Some instances might have took like 2 weeks because of the time constraints we had for after school, but they would take it back and they would actually present it to the teacher as it was a business, saying that, hey, this is our product. These are the specifications that you asked for, and this is what it's doing. They would actually present that to the teacher and also possibly the class, because that student was already part of that class anyway. Okay, and so they would have that robot, so the teacher didn't have to do any work. They just built a small station in their classroom. This is an ELA teacher, okay, in which the students will actually work with that particular robot. And I'm going to show you the presentation a little bit as far as the picture, of how that works. Okay, now this is my school here. This is Kelly Mill Middle School. Okay, and basically we have roughly around over 1,000 students, a little bit over 300 students in the sixth grade, and with this, we've had almost every student in the sixth grade to participate, excuse me, with our UV kit, and because we integrated these kits into the core classroom. All right, so I'm gonna show you right here. This is the social studies part. All right, in social studies itself. All right, they're using the same lesson. Okay, they're using the same one in which they would actually think about the lesson they want to teach, and then they would use an interdisciplinary um, concept in which they're trying to find some other subject area that they can talk about. Then they went over the supplies and the activities. Well, supplies and activity is already there because guess what? The student already made the robot for it. The robot's actually talking about, if I'm not mistaken, this picture here was talking about aqueduct that they were using in the civilization that they were talking about at that particular time. Another picture here was talking about the different catapults that the students were using. As you can see, you have a robotic one right here, and then you have one that a student made. Because I remember this one. Excuse me. The students made the catapult because they were talking about medieval times, and they wanted to see the difference and test the accuracy of that with those particular students. And next time when I tell the teacher to get the pictures, because we had to dig for these, she had a picture with the students actually in the competition or a small video of it. That was the only drawback from we need. We'll get more pictures of that later on. But this is the actual social studies itself. Um, Another one, actually, and I don't have a picture of, is actually one of the best ones, where the students actually made um, they were actually creating towers in the class, and I couldn't tell you exactly um, what period of time they were talking about, but I know the social studies teacher, the same one that did the catapults here, the students were designing towers, and they wanted to do he wanted to have an earthquake device. So that took us the longest to figure out exactly how to get it done because they were using heavy material to build these towers. And I was telling them, no, you got to use something a little lighter, like like spaghetti straws and stuff like that. Well, the students in that used they created using the same U kits right here from UVTech to create the actual um, earthquake device in which the students tested their own towers that they made in that class. It was a cool excuse me, goodness. It was a very cool idea. The students gravitated to that, and we built it after school and presented it. Well, the students presented it. I had a class to go to, but they did a great job, and it worked out well for them. All right, we'll talk about ELA. Okay, here it is. Look at this. Here we go. All right. This is a picture right here where the students were using the model, and it doesn't have it here, but it was an actual wig. The teachers, a couple of teachers had wigs and stuff, so they let the students use that. But they made the arm right here, and they were brushing hair, simulated like it was brushing hair. There was another one where it was actually worked better when it was actually you can see it. It was like it was brushing teeth. Okay, and they were talking about this in their ELA class, talking about smart homes or whatever story that they had to present. All right. This right here is a picture of the actual one ELA teacher wanted a mouse. All right. She actually asked for a mouse because they were talking about some story that was using some animals, and the students actually created this right here, um, where it was actually a car. One of the programs that you would see in the UCAT, it was I want to say it's a police car, but what they did was they use paper, and that's all it is: paper, tape, and some cloth, and rearranged the actual car and made it into looking like some particular animal. It's supposed to be a mouse, but hey, I loved it. The teachers loved it. It worked because it still rolled around the classroom and did exactly what that ELA teacher wanted to do, and that was their project. And see, and this is just an ELA class. Okay, that's it. It's an English class. English teachers were doing this in our classroom. Okay, now, now the math part of it, the only thing about this, it was a beautiful, beautiful program. The math teacher wanted to, this particular math teacher wanted to actually talk about how you can find out how a Uber driver or somebody like Lyft or someone of that nature um, would fare against a actual self-driven car. Okay, if you wanted to, since the delivery system is going that route, possibly, using unmanned cars, the math teachers wanted to see if a person can program and use timing or in different speeds, different weights, see which one would be better um, when they design a city. Would the math add up as far as a unmanned car going from point A to point B, or a manned car that was a student that was controlling the robot going from point A to point B? Okay, and they actually were designing the city around it. This right here was using I think it was Geometry City, and but they had it a bigger scale. This is a smaller one. It was a huge, huge project because it was taking over the classroom at the time. And the only thing about it, we don't have the information, the pictures of that because COVID happened. So the students unfortunately didn't get to compete and do the whole full blown project like they wanted to do. Um, because that was going to be like almost like a school wide thing because they were building a city, and they were testing robots at the same time. So that's what the math teacher was actually doing with that program. So they never got to actually finish that particular program itself. But I wanted y'all to see that and see how you can incorporate math a different way using robotics and actual activities that they were using with that particular subject area. Okay. Now, with that said right there, and that's all we did mainly at Kelly Mill Middle School with subject areas. Now we had engineering itself, where students actually built some of the robots in their engineering class. So that's easy. I don't want to show you guys that. You know that can happen. We started out, as I said before, with the actual teachers. Okay, they were in the classroom, did the project, and they were jotting down, different ideas, brainstorming, because you got to let them get the feel of it, to see what it takes to actually do it itself. All right. Then, our students would actually get their information. It's like taking orders. They would jot down all the information and then come back to the workshop, the danger room, that's what we call it, at the after school program. That was the robotics team. They were coming up with these different ideas on how to build the idea that the teacher was coming up with and how it worked. And that part worked out beautifully. Now, I didn't put science in here because, I'm a science teacher. I'm going to talk about that itself. With science itself, I wanted to not just have just a regular robotics in the classroom. I wanted to actually put together a collaboration, okay? And what I wanted to do was use other organizations and see how we can take our robotics and STEM into a different level. When we were using the UVTech themselves, I stumbled upon a program right here called ECyber Mission. Okay. Now, ECyber Mission is a web-based science, technology, engineering, and mathematics competition for students in grades 6 through 9. All right. Basically, it's sponsored by the Army Educational Outreach Program, sponsored by the military. Okay, the military has deep pockets. They do. And so what we did, this is our first time ever using this program, actually participating in this program, and then at the same time, this is our first time using these robotics kits. We just got these kits last year, during the school year. And we started the workshop with the teachers around October-ish. Okay, they would start trying to implement it into the classroom around November-ish. It mainly got full blown around January, where at the same time, I was pushing my students to actually participate in this program. Okay, and as you can see, this is our students using the UVTech to actually do a research project on how their trolley or you could say their car that they were developing at the time. I think we presented it as a Land Rover, like you would do in space, how it would go over different terrain. All right, this right here is aluminum foil. Picture of the robot. They were designed to see if it was would go over the foil at a different speed and distance and everything. They built it, as you see, slightly different than the other robot. All right, this right here is if I can pull it up. There we go. There we go. All right, this right here, it's the same classroom, but you can see it has different terrain right here. It's more like a grass terrain, and you can see the different robots that we have. So they were built differently. They were saying maybe a different size. We'll take a little bit off here. We'll take a little bit off there. We'll change it up because they wanted to see whether their robot would actually work on different terrain. We had, we don't have a picture of it, but the students, we were using actual bubble wrap that you would use for packing for the robots to go over. We actually use the regular newspaper, just kind of crumble it up onto a table itself, just to see how the terrain would go. We had an incline in which we used sandpaper to see how fast it would go over the sandpaper, just for a different terrain itself. And so students were getting into this so much because remember, this is a research competition. Okay, we had over 200 students at Kelly Mills to participate in this program, this actual research competition. This is a national competition that's sponsored by the military department, sponsored by the Army. And basically, you went out the state, then you went out the region, then you went national. They just had the national award, and the actual prize that the students get is a scholarship to get over $10,000 in scholarship money. For our very first time, our very first time ever doing it, we placed second and third in the state. Students won a $500 scholarship. Each student won a $500 scholarship, and they were only in the sixth grade. All right, and from our state itself, and this was our very first time doing it, and I'm extremely proud of that because for them to program and build these robots and to do the research at the same time, these students gained a lot of respect for me, and you talking about the parents were elated about this whole thing. You couldn't tell our administrator anything, and they saw that it was a lot of hard work, but it was a lot of collaboration that we had to go through to actually pull that off. I'm hoping next year with all the new ideas that some other teachers and I have been coming up with, that we'll be able to use the UVTech to actually take the ECyber competition to another level and go ahead and get that national award. They were be in second place for $500. Not a bad gig, not bad. All right. Now, none of this could not have been done without UVTech and the early innovative program that they let us graciously enough bless us with. It was only roughly around 20 schools or 20 school districts in the nation that was awarded this grant, and we were the only ones in Columbia, South Carolina, and it took our whole STEM program to another level because it gave us some new ideas. It was something that the school did not have to come out of their pocket to do, and now I think we could actually say that we're state winners. We haven't won the national part yet, but for the very first time, we've only had the robots for just for a few months. And, I rushed it and put them all in the competition. So far, so good. All right. With that said, I know I'm running out of time. I'm not sure if you guys got any questions for me. I'll be more than happy to take a look and see which questions you have, and hopefully everything works out for you in the long run when it comes to actually participating and using STEM in your classroom.
So one of the questions, real quick here,
Well,
Warren, because we're just going to go into break.
It's been a very informative session. We really appreciate your time. Kelly's back. I'm just trying to help her out.
Okay.
Thank you. So the kits, did the robotics come pre-programmed?
No, but actually they give you they walk you through the training to that has the modules there, and it's step by step. Does have examples of what to do. It shows you step by step on how to build it. I have it's like an iPad right here, and it shows you it actually shows. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. The actual app that it uses. And these are the different modules. If I can go through them. Yeah, there you go.
Great.
Yeah, some of the modules, this is like one of the main ones that you saw right there. That's what the students use. They just changed it up a little bit, and it tells you, it walks you through it step by step on how to build it. And I know it's kind of got a glare, but you can actually go through the whole step. It was the easiest thing because I can turn it around, I can manipulate it. The ELA teachers who never built a robot in their life, they just read books, you know, they were like, man, how do you do that? I could do this.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah, they loved it.
Okay.
And so that helped out a whole lot. That made the learning curve a whole lot shorter.
So if you have additional questions, everyone, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to Warren. I mean, it is an amazing. If we would be there together in Orlando, Florida, you all would have been having an experience building them and putting them together, which we did last year, and it was phenomenal. So I really want to thank you so much. This was great, and it's always wonderful to hear from another educator as they're how your experience has been with it and how we can really push it to drive it forward. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. So I'm